The Polish Internal Security Agency announced that a 27-year-old Colombian national has been charged with committing an act of terrorism on Polish territory. The case concerns the arson of two construction warehouses in Warsaw and Radom in May 2024. The suspect has partially admitted his guilt and provided explanations. The arson attacks were ordered by the Russian Federation. For over a year, a series of mysterious fires has been sweeping across Poland. Shops, landfills, construction warehouses, and even apartment buildings were targeted. Now, Poland's Internal Security Agency has announced that Russia is responsible for two fires in 2024 in Warsaw and Radom, using a 27-year-old migrant from Colombia. These actions were commissioned, supervised, and financed by a person associated with Russian secret services. The suspect received detailed instructions from his employer regarding the target of the attack and how to carry it out, including how to make a Molotov cocktail and to use a specific means of transport. The aim was to set fire to construction warehouses. However, in this case, the actions of Russian secret services were aimed at causing panic among the Polish public and highlighting the weaknesses of the Polish state. They were not calculated to cause particularly large material losses, but they were certainly calculated to have a psychological effect, to sow fear among the population. Poland is a particularly salient target for Russian sabotage operations, being a logistical hub for aid to Ukraine. Poland's eastern border also marks the eastern borders of NATO and the European Union. If we were to map out all potential targets of Russian sabotage operations, it would be very large. This map would include critical infrastructure and strategic facilities like the headquarters of various state institutions. However, similar situations are becoming more and more frequent. A series of mysterious fires have recently affected sections of Warsaw's subway system. The Russian Federation was, is, and will certainly continue to be Poland's greatest geopolitical enemy. As such, similar sabotage operations are likely to continue, as long as the Polish government doesn't have the capacity to stop them. Preliminary findings by geologists indicate that 22 million tons of oil and 5 billion cubic meters of gas have been discovered near Świnoujście, Poland, the largest oil deposit in Polish history. These figures could significantly strengthen Polish energy independency. As of today, none of the oil has been extracted. What does Germany think about all this? Just because these deposits were initially discovered in Poland, they are now an obstacle for Germany. Every nation-state within the European Union that has such deposits is safer, thus relieving the burden on other member states. Unfortunately, nobody in Germany seems to be thinking like that. But that's not all. German media did not hesitate to criticize the investment. In their opinion, extraction may threaten the environment and tourism. The news agency Die Welt quoted German Climate and Environment Minister Till Backhaus, who said, "Our future does not lie in oil from the Baltic Sea, but in energy from the sun, wind, and biomass." According to the German politician, the project represents a backward industrial policy in terms of climate policy, which is contrary to the interests of the environment and tourism on the German side. Every Polish investment that increases our country's competitiveness, reduces energy costs, and provides additional income to our state treasury is a thorn in the side of Germany. And of course, Germany deals with this very cleverly, because it is often not the federal government or the chancellor or federal ministers who do the dirty work, but little-known environmental organizations. For years, Germany invested billions of euros in Russian gas, building the Nord Stream pipeline. At that time, no one in Berlin said that the era of gas is coming to an end. But today, when Poland wants to use its own resources, suddenly everything becomes harmful to the environment. We are familiar with the Germans' irrational approach to fossil fuels, and we know very well that Polish lignite is not environmentally friendly, while German lignite is. This also reflects our difficult neighbors' approach to energy in general. All cross-border approvals and permits will have to be obtained, and this is where the problem lies, because we will have to run all our methods of extraction and extraction volumes through our neighbors. According to Die Welt, the issue of profit sharing from the Baltic deposit may depend on the interpretation of European Union regulations, as well as on the Polish government's willingness to recognize any role for Germany in the extraction process. Poland's opposition says bluntly, when Poland has something valuable, Germany immediately remembers European solidarity.
To jedna z największych szans energetycznych dla Polski od lat. A
The
jeśli
discovery of oil and gas near Świnoujście is one of the greatest energy opportunities for Poland in years. And if history has taught us anything, it is that when we do not defend our own interests, others are very willing to tell us what we should do. German suggestions usually end with a bill issued to Poland. Will Poland's government defend its own interests? Time will tell.
Aleksandra Gołda, Republika.
Donald Trump threatens Russian criminal Putin. During his visit to Scotland, the American president announced that he was shortening the ultimatum he had given Putin a week ago. He has now announced decisive action within the next 10 to 12 days. The Americans already have a package of sanctions ready to hit the Russian dictator's allies. Trump is definitively ending the era of soft diplomacy and starting to play hardball. Do the Americans have the strength to bring the Kremlin to its knees? 3 bombs, one after another, all on target. That was the prison in the Zaporizhia region, another strategic target of Russian criminals. 17 killed, including Ukrainian soldiers and civilians. Over 40 people were wounded. I didn't see anything. I bandaged one man's leg, took off my shirt and put it on him as a bandage, but he didn't make it to the hospital alive. I didn't see him then, but half of his leg was missing. I covered what was left with my t-shirt. I just took it off, but it didn't help him. The Russians are bombing Ukraine every day. Rockets, drones, bombs. A war of destruction and intimidation. No prospects for a ceasefire. That is why, in the face of no chance of stopping the hostilities, U.S. President Donald Trump decided to significantly shorten the ultimatum he gave Moscow a week ago for a truce.
I'm going to make a new deadline of about 10 or 12 days from today. There's no reason in waiting. There's no reason in waiting. It's 50 days. I want to be generous, but we just don't see any progress.
The U.S. president wants to impose sanctions on Russia, but not on its goods or politicians. We are talking about indirect sanctions that will affect countries doing business with the Kremlin. Donald Trump has openly admitted that the time for diplomacy is over.
I'm not so interested in talking anymore. He talks, we have such nice conversations, such respectful and nice conversations, and then people die the following night with a missile going into a town and hitting, I mean, recently, I guess, the nursing home, but they hit other things. Whatever they hit, people die.
This unequivocal statement caused quite a stir in Kiev. For Ukraine, the Donald Trump administration's involvement in the tough game with Moscow is very important news. Today, President Trump made a particularly important statement, and it's true. It is Russia that is doing everything to undermine peace efforts and prolong this war. Night raids, Russia's constant attempts to inflict suffering on Ukraine. Peace is indeed possible when decisive action is taken. We have repeatedly said, and all our partners know, that sanctions are a key element. According to media reports, there is talk of tariffs of up to 500% on goods imported into the United States from countries that buy Russian oil and gas. This is a nuclear-level measure, as it concerns countries such as India, China, and Turkey. They are the main recipients of Russian raw materials, but also significant trading partners of the United States. Over 1 million young Catholics from around the world will participate in the Youth Jubilee in Rome over the next few days. It is a great celebration of the Church and a tribute to Pope John Paul II of Poland, who initiated meetings with young people in Rome and encouraged them to actively participate in the life of the Church. The Youth Jubilee is a spiritual feast. During this time, young people discover the voice of God in the community and experience the presence of other people. The Youth Jubilee takes place in the Catholic Church every 25 years. On this occasion, when the year is announced by the Pope, the holy doors are opened in Rome, and passing through the holy doors is one of the ways of experiencing the Jubilee, pilgrimage, and the desire to obtain a plenary indulgence. The youth meeting includes discussion panels, concerts, and space for prayer. One of the most interesting moments during the Jubilee will be a confession in a historic place, Circo Massimo, this Friday. On Saturday, the highlight of the day will be a vigil with the Holy Father. I came to the Youth Jubilee primarily to experience the living church from around the world and to meet our new Pope. I came to the Jubilee to see the places where the first Christians gave witness to their faith. Hundreds of thousands of young people from around the world will take part in the event, including as many as 20,000 from Poland. To experience the Holy Spirit in our lives together with them, to have fun and enjoy this faith, to combine all the beautiful things in our lives and to have fun together with God. Pilgrims expressed their joy at this event, saying that it brings hope and joy. Above all, the Youth Jubilee brings people together, and for many, the event itself is a dream come true. I am really happy to be here because I am discovering that even though we are young people from different communities, we are actually united and connected by one goal, which is God. In addition, we have the opportunity to meet new people and learn about a new culture. In addition to the Youth Jubilee, there is also a Jubilee for influencers and digital missionaries. Pope Leo XIV addressed the faithful in St. Peter's Basilica in the Vatican. Be creators of communion, capable of overcoming the logic of division and polarization, individualism and egocentrism. Focus on Christ to overcome the logic of the world, fake news and frivolity, with the beauty and light of truth. Sunday will be the last day of the Youth Jubilee, and it will be sealed with a Holy Mass, celebrated by Pope Leo XIV.